Welcome to class, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started in any comfortable seated position. Take your time as you get settled into the hips and the spine. If you want the hips propped up, you might make these a little more comfortable for you. Be here too long, we just want to take the first few moments to settle in, connect with our breath. So once you do have your seated position, if you want, you can work with the mudra. You can have the first finger and thumb together with the backs of the hands on the thighs and knees. You can have fingers interlocked. And that really just helps you to settle into the body, help the shoulders relax. And then close your eyes. If you find the eyes wandering a lot, you can always open them up just enough so you can look at one point toward the floor. Otherwise, see if you can rest the eyes at one point internally, maybe toward the tip of the nose. So you have all of that. We'll start to pay more attention to the physical sensation of the breath moving through the nose and the throat. You might also pick up on the movement in the rib cage, navel. Notice the inhalations and exhalations lengthening as you bring your attention to the breath. And pay more attention to any physical or subtle sensations correlated with your breathing pattern. Stay mindful of the breathing pattern, those sensations. We'll start to bring some attention now to our intention for class. And this could be something you'd like to manifest in terms of your health or well-being. It could be a spiritual aspiration you have within your own heart. As you continue to focus on that intention, take the next 3 breaths with awareness at the heart center, right behind the sternum. Bring the palms together in front of the heart center. We ask and trust that our practice today supports this intention and moves it toward its fullest expression. We'll chant Hare Om 3 times together. Inhale. Slowly open the eyes. And let's go ahead and start off on all fours. Get the wrists under the shoulders and knees under the hips. Take your time to get set up. Remember, we're supporting on the palms. We're going to fingers spread wide. And get settled into that shape. We'll start with some cat-cow stretching. Once you've got that shape, inhale, take the tailbone, chest, and head up. As you exhale, you'll tuck the tailbone, draw the navel, and relax the neck muscles. And as you go back and forth, get a few rounds in, just get the pattern and the movement connected with your breath. And if you want to add a short internal or external breath retention, just holding there no longer than 2 seconds. Maybe on that external breath retention, bring more attention into the engagement of the lower belly or relaxing the neck. If you're doing that internal breath retention, bring some attention into broadening the collarbones, lengthening the rib cage away from the hips. Start to feel spine loosening up, upper And lower back starts to get some stretching, some relief. Also activating those muscles. So a lot of times we might find the upper back muscles overstretched and tight. Just notice on that inhale, activated, contracting those muscles, shortening them. Do one last round. Take your time, and on the next inhale, you'll find a neutral position for the spine, letting those natural curves come back. You might adjust the palms, fingertips, make sure we're rooting into all the fingertips still, so we engage those forearm muscles. And we'll bring the knees in closer toward the midline next. Once you've got that established, we'll take the right leg back and up, keeping the hips, those glutes engaged, the knee bent. You'll take the knee off to the side, and you bring the knee down and center, bring it slightly forward, and then hit those 3 points in a more circular fashion. Check in with your breathing pattern, make sure you're not holding the breath in or out. You also maybe mindful, sometimes I'll catch myself or I'll see people kind of bending the left elbow when we're working with the right leg. So keep the upper back strong, arms strong. We're going to reverse the direction, staying on the same leg when you're ready. Explore whatever your range of motion is right now with the hip. We'll do one last round. The right knee coming down to the left, make any minor adjustments. We'll switch off to the left side here. Strong left glute. Off to the side. Center and slightly forward. So once you get the movement going, move as fast or slow as you'd like. I always find that with articulating this circular pattern, this rotations, pretty slow movement, but still steady works best. So when you reverse the direction, just gotta check in, make sure you're not moving too fast. When we move too fast, it kind of skip over some of the parts of that rotation and the movement that we need. And this kind of gets us into that strengthening mode as well. So we're strengthening these muscles in the hip. Do one more round on this side. We're going to bring both knees together, feet close together. We'll sit back on the heels. If you need block bolster, a combination of props to make Vajrasana more available for you, go ahead and set yourself up so that you're comfortable. And then we'll interlock the fingers, forearms close together, and we'll do a figure 8 with the hands. So get now a rotation for the wrist joint. Still cultivating about a 5-second breath in, 5-second breath out. We'll reverse the direction of the rotation. Stay in Vajrasana. You're going to bring fingers in front of the shoulders and thumbs behind the shoulders, and then we're going to do shoulder rotations. Big circles to the elbows. Feel those muscles in the upper back get a stretch when the elbows come forward. Feel them engage. Elbows come back. We're going to reverse that direction. Forward on the palms, get the knees and the feet hip width distance apart next, and curl the toes under as best as you can. We're going to keep the toes curled under. We'll get the wrists a little further forward than the shoulders, so that when you come forward and get the shoulders over the wrist, you're pretty much in a modified plank pose. Now when we're here, we want to keep that navel rib cage firm, so we're not resting in the lower back or hips here. Then we're going to slowly move the hips back. And instead of feeling like we want to bring the hips back toward the heels, what we want to do is feel like we're bringing belly toward the thighs. And feel that internal rotation of the thigh bones just naturally happening here. That stretch for the soles of our feet. Let's come forward again. Let's do some more breath enhanced. Inhale, we've got a modified plank pose, strong upper back and navel. Exhale, we got the lower belly firming up here as we take the belly toward the thighs. Neck is neutral or relaxed. Let's do that 2 more times at your own pace. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Remember, as we follow through with the breath, we're taking just that moment in each shape. We'll come forward 1 more time, and then on the next exhale, we'll take downward facing dog. So on your next exhale, with the hips back and up, and once the hips get back and up, if it feels good to bend one knee, press the opposite heel, alternate the legs, you can do that. And let's bring the left knee down and take the right foot to the outside of the right wrist, just like so. You have an angle with your back knee. The knee's going to stay down, so if you need a cushion or a doubled up mat for that back knee, go ahead and set yourself up where the knee's comfortable. Stay rooted through the ball on the right big toe. Take either right hand on the thigh here. You can work on the twist this way, or if you'd like, you can take the right arm straight up toward the sky. You want to settle in, feeling with the hip, rooted through the ball on the right big toe. Take one more breath here in the twist. And then on the next inhale, we'll come out of the twist, right palm down to the floor. We're going to take downward facing dog next. Hips back and up. We'll reset, neutral spine. And then on the next inhale, we'll get the right knee down to the floor. Left leg forward, left foot to the outside of the wrist. Wide runner's lunge. Get that settled in, feeling with the hip. Right arm stays supportive. You twist to the left, do the same variation, practice on the last side, or do the left hand on the thigh, or right arm straight up. I want to feel like we're twisting from the waist, lower rim of the rib cage up through the upper back. Hold here, check in with your breathing pattern. 5-second breath in, 5-second breath out. On the next inhale, out of the twist, left palm down. Next exhale, find your way back into downward facing dog. And we'll start to walk the hands back toward the feet. Once the heels reach the floor, come up halfway to lengthen. Deepen the fourfold exhale. We're going to hang out here in Uttanasana. Bent knees, grab opposite elbows or intertwine the arms around each other. If it feels good to do a little movement here, just listen to signals in the lower back. If you are having lower back issues, remember, deep forward folds might feel good in the moment. They might not feel good tomorrow. So you might come up here, feel a little strengthening with the back and the navel. Those deep forward folds do feel good, and you don't have any lower back issues. A little swaying sometimes, back and forth or side to side feels good. You can turn your head yes or no a couple of times. So that helps to loosen up some tension in the upper back, shoulder blade, and neck area. One more full breath here. You might take a nice long exhale, emptying the belly. And on the next inhale, we'll sweep the arms to the side, strong back, belly, and legs, keeping the gaze downward just in case there's any dizziness. If you want, you can lean back a little bit. You might engage the glutes. Arms go alongside the body in Tadasana. And let's take a breath or two here. We can check in with the feet. Make sure all the toes are pointing straight ahead. Feel planted through those 3 points in the soles of our feet. Palm on a big toe, palm on a pinky toe, and the center of the heel. We're going to take a side stretch next. We're going to have the right arm up and elbow bent. So we're taking the middle finger toward the spine here like so. Upper arm pretty close to the ear. And then we'll take the left hand to the right elbow. Now at this point, if you feel like you're jutting the lower front rib cage forward, engage those muscles. Just see if we can still keep the shoulders in this position without relying on that arch in the middle back. Once we have that, take a lean to the left and keep the head face forward, the back of the head resting there in the forearm, or you can turn your head up toward the sky and the right ear falls into the forearm. Check in with your breathing pattern. Feel the expansive quality of the inhalation move in the sideline of your body, maybe even in the hip. And On the next inhale, we'll come back to center. We're going to switch the arms. Now when we switch the arms, check back in with lower front rib cage. When you're ready, take the lean towards your right. Find the head position that works best for you. And then follow the breath into the body and notice how the body responds to the breath. Next, inhale back to center and arms down. I'll give you an option here. Sometimes people feel like this feels better with feet hip width distance apart. A lot of times we'll have the feet closer toward the midline here. The big toes don't have to touch, maybe just half an inch in closer on each side. All the toes still pointing straight ahead. Bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms forward, up, and slightly back. This will always be our inhale. As we exhale, we're going to just straighten the legs. Arms go past the hips, palms face the wall behind us, and we squeeze the shoulder blades. Now take a couple of breaths here. This is another one exercise where you just want to be aware of flaring the rib cage. Right? Notice if you keep these muscles firm, am I still able to broaden my collarbones here? Now I'll go back into that inhale, bend the knees and sink the hips. And then notice here, because we've got more extension in the spine, keep the lower belly just firm enough so we don't rest or dump in the lower back, but you will still feel there's a little bit of more extension in the upper back. But if you feel like you're flaring out excessively, that might still be an engagement for you to have. So go back and forth between those two exercises. We're going to straighten the legs and arms past the hips on the exhale, broadening collarbones, and on the inhale, we bend the knees, sink the hips, heavy hips and heels as we lift the heart and arms up. Go back and forth in that natural pathway, forward, up, and back with the arms. And do one more inhale, one more exhale. Next inhale, come to a neutral position. And we'll do standing marches next. As you exhale, strong abdomen, hip flexors, lift the right leg up as high as you can with the knee bent. Left arm sweeps forward, up, and slightly back along with it. And as you inhale, you'll lower arm and foot down, shift your body weight into the other side, and exhale, arms, right arm and left leg go up, and go back and forth. Soft gaze at one point to maintain your balance and help with concentration. Take your time. If you stumble out of it, you need to reset. Just reset back up in mountain pose. One more with the right leg up, one more with the left arm up. Finish that last round. Take a breather. We'll meet back up into Dasana. And then we're going to face the long edge of the mat. And when we get that initial stance, we're going to have the feet wide, arms are out to a T formation, ankles will be past the elbows, closer to the ribs. All of the toes are going to point straight ahead toward the long edge of the mat. We'll then interlock the fingers, straighten the arms as best as you can. Shouldn't be any tugging or pinching in the front of the shoulders. We'll maintain that stretch as we forward fold, hinging at the hip, next neutral or relaxed. And if you have more availability in the shoulders, you might find the hands lifting up away from the hips. That's fine, as long as you're not creating any undue stress in the shoulder joint. Re-breathing here. On the next inhale, we'll bring torso up. And then we'll heel toe the feet in just a little bit, maybe about a half an inch on both sides. We want to check here. We're going to turn the left toes to the short edge of the mat and the right toes in. Heel to heel alignment, and see if you can still bend your left knee and get it over the ankle. If it's behind the ankle, if it's way past the ankle, like over the toes, then adjust the stance so you can get about ankle over knee. If the knee goes a little bit past the ankle, that's okay. So make sure you can get that stance with the distance between your heels. So we've got that warrior two stance here. Once we have that, then we're going to go ahead and straighten this leg. Make sure this knee doesn't lock out. It's as straight as possible. Keep shoulders nice and squared off. Hinge at the side of the left hip. Let the left hand go anywhere lower than the knee, just to the inside of the knee. Now keeping the chest open, look down at your left knee. Is that kneecap going the same direction as the toes? Do I need to give up on my hip in order for that to happen? Allow it to, but keep chest open. Now bring torso up. This next posture is going to be bending this knee again and see if we can get this left forearm on the thigh while keeping the chest open like we had for triangle pose. Now there might be a couple of you out there that are able to keep that chest nice and open and bring the hand to the floor, or you might choose to have a block to the inside of the foot. Right? In either of those options, we're going to take this top arm across the horizon toward the head and stop where it naturally wants to stop without shrugging the shoulder or taking the arm bone out of the shoulder socket. Now we're going to bring the torso back up. Every time we inhale, we're going to have this position here with the leg is straight and we've got arms out to a T formation. On the next exhale, you're going to bend the left knee, gaze past the left middle finger. On the inhale, back to that position that we just were in with the legs straight. Exhale, triangle pose, left hand anywhere lower than the knee. If it doesn't throw your balance off, you can gaze up toward the top thumb. Inhale, back up to vertical, and exhale, side angle pose. Forearm on thigh, or hand to the inside of the leg and arm sweeps across the horizon. Come back to starting position. And we're going to do that 2 more times, breath enhanced. Warrior 2 on the exhale. Inhale, straighten leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Gaze up toward top thumb if you'd like. Inhale, center. Exhale, side angle pose, gaze toward the horizon, right in front of you. Last one, back in reverse. Inhale, warrior 2. Inhale. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale up. Take your time. Side angle pose, you might be moving a little faster or slower than me based on your breathing pattern, that's okay. And then back to center on the inhale. Feet parallel, hands on the hips. Let's take a breather, let heart and breath regulate. Now we're going to go through those 3 postures again like we did at the beginning on the other side. One side might feel a little different than the other, so we want to make sure that we make any minor adjustments and kind of get a sensation of what each of these postures feel like before we move through them dynamically. So we've got right foot out, left toe slightly in. Let's make sure we've got the proper distance between heels. We can bend that knee, settle into the hip. All right, triangle pose, chest nice and open. Take the lean to the right. Let's look down at that right knee. Is it in line with the toes? Are we locking the knee out? Can we soften a little bit? Are we able to maintain an open chest? Coming up, side angle pose. All right, option 1 here. I'm able to keep the navel and chest open to bring the arm to the inside of the leg. And then check that sweeping motion with this arm. How does that feel? Coming in and out, just like so. And then we're going to come all the way up. This is always our starting position at the inhale. Keep the navel firm, shoulders squared up. Full breath in. Exhale, warrior 2. Turn toward the right middle finger. Inhale up. Triangle pose. Inhaling up. Side angle pose. Parsvakonasana. Continue at your own pace. Remember, this is always our starting position on the inhale. And we start that same sequence over again. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Triangle next. Gaze toward the horizon for side angle pose. Last one. Sweep that arm across the horizon. Back to center and up, and feet parallel, hands on the hips. Free breathing here. And we're going to go into runner's lunge, facing the front edge of the mat. And we'll all have the left leg forward in a runner's lunge. If you're at home and you've got the right leg forward, let's go ahead and switch. That left leg is forward, so we're all on one page. If there's any verbal cues, it'll be less confusing for you. And then we're going to keep this back knee down so you can double up the mat or use a blanket. So we're going to stack that back hip over the back knee. This front leg straightens out. Keep the knee slightly bent to get the hips settled in as evenly as we can. We can choose to straighten it a little bit more. We can also have blocks here underneath the hands. If we don't quite feel like our body weight is transferring up into the shoulder girdle through the arm bones, some of you have the forward fold here where the palms might come to the floor. You might even bend the elbows a little bit. It doesn't have to be an objective or a goal. It just might start happening naturally as the flexion in the hip starts to improve or shift. Just let that progress happen on its own through time. There's nothing that you have to force here. Hold the shape, conscious breathing. Torso up, we'll bend that leg. And from here, we're going to sweep this left heel toward the right thigh. Bring that shin and knee down. We'll scoot right foot back. Settle into hips as evenly as we can for one-legged pigeon pose. And then once you have the lower half of the body established, you'll have a couple of options here. You can have both palms on the floor just like so. A little lift to the chest, relax shoulders away from ears. If you want more extension in the spine, you can take hands a little bit further back. Make sure you use the arms and the body weight there to support the length of the spine as you go into further extension. Or left hand will be supportive, more front and center, and we're reaching back for the right foot with the right hand. If you have this bind, you might take other options if they're available to you, such as grabbing the inside of the foot, bringing heel in closer toward the hip, maybe getting the elbow stacked over the wrist with the rotation in the shoulder. Listen to the signals in the shoulder joint there. More free breathing here. You have the bind with the foot. Make sure you keep the lift to the chest, strong back, open front of the throat. And on the next inhale, we'll release that bind. Careful with the back knee. Once both palms are on the floor, wrist shoulder width distance, take body weight out of the hips. Take downward facing dog, even hips, even shoulders. And then we'll bring the left knee down. We'll get the right foot forward into a lunge. Back knee's going to stay down. From that runner's lunge shape, you'll then have the knee down and then stack the back hip over the back knee. Right leg straight out of hip. Make minor adjustments in the hip structure. You basically want the crease of that right hip on this side even up with the front left hip point. And then find boundaries that are available to you that you can explore. Create space where you can. Let go of gripping on the exhale. And that right knee. I'm going to take that right knee and shin down. Angle with the thigh. And we'll get one-legged pigeon pose here. Whatever variation practice on the last side, do your best on this side. So we got one-legged pigeon, one-legged king pigeon. Variations you can work with. All variations. Again, we've got lengthening of the ribcage away from hip, strong back muscles, lifted the sternum away from the belly button. We're working with this back leg, starting to bring the heel in toward the outer edge of the hip here. Listen to the signals in the knee and the shoulder. Feels any kind of distress in either of those joints, you're going too far. Check in with your breathing pattern. Release that bind. Next inhale when you're ready. Meet back up in downward facing dog. Take your time, no rush. Next breath in. Come forward into plank. We're going to lower down next. Either knees, chest, and chin or chaturanga. Practicing Ashtangasana, keep those hips up, strong navel to the very end here. Lengthen the navel and bring the flat of the belly down. Once you have a long navel on the floor, then take arms to a goalpost position, elbows bent 90 degrees, and shoulders or elbows stay in line with the shoulders. Engage the glutes, so lift the feet up. Strong back, lift the chest up a little higher, and then strong back and shoulders to float the forearms away from the floor. Make sure you're not compressing the back of the neck. You may feel a little lengthening in the front of the throat. Feel more tension is going to get drawn into the upper back and chest here when we breathe in, because the back, lower back and navel are more restricted. Lower down. We're going to slide elbows underneath the shoulders, forearms and wrists shoulder width distance apart. Feet can be wider than the hips if it's more comfortable for you in this pose around the lower back and sacral area. And then from here, just like when we're working with one-legged pigeon pose, you should have a pretty strong back, lengthened feeling away from the hips. You hear a soft forward movement with the chest. Sternum. Excuse me. Check with your breathing pattern. Notice when you're inhaling if you shrug your shoulders up toward the ears or activate the neck muscles. Just notice if that's happening and if you're able to keep the shoulders away from the ears, and keep the neck a little softer when you're breathing in. You might notice other areas of the torso expanding when you breathe in. So just notice that that's happening and see if we can shift the attention more down toward the rib cage and into the shoulders and the neck, particularly on the inhale. 1 to 2 more full breaths here in Sphinx. Elbows split out, lower down. Hands slide under shoulders, curl toes under, leave knees on floor, push chest and belly away from floor, hips over knees, and bring forearms down to the floor. Elbows shoulder width distance, palms pressed together, keep elbows where they're at, look back at your knees, and now move knees back a couple inches behind hips for dolphin prep. And we'll take the hips back slightly, lift forearms up until fingers and thumbs are pointing straight up toward the sky, and then keep allowing the chest to move toward the floor without jamming up the shoulders, and while maintaining enough weight back through the hip structure to keep length in your torso spine and space for the shoulder joint. You can relax the neck at the end. If the head touches the floor, which it will for some, you can allow it to. 5-second breath in, 5-second breath out. Next, inhale, lift heart and head up, forearms down. Bring knees a little closer toward the arms. Bring forearms back down, wrists in line with shoulders, palms on the floor like we had for Sphinx pose. Curl toes under, lift knees up, move chest toward legs, gaze in between the elbows for dolphin pose. Rebreathing here. And then we'll bring the knees down, and we'll either rest in child's pose or you can sit in a position on the heels. Make sure the heart and breath feel regulated. Make sure you feel prepared to go upside down again for either mat work, working with forearm balance prep, which is essentially a one-legged dolphin pose. You can also, if you have a wall that's available, or a piece of furniture that's not going to slide, you can bring your feet on that piece of furniture or the wall. Feet shouldn't be any higher than the hips. And if you're practicing forearm balance, the wall behind you, or if you're really proficient at the posture and you're comfortable doing that at home in the middle of the room, feel free. You've got this very first shape here to work with. 4 breaths, one leg up for 4 breaths each side. Still gets feet over hips, hips over heart, and heart over head. Working with the wall or furniture is new for you. You can watch for the first time here. Upper body set up the same way. Heads off the floor for forearm balance. This position, again, use a piece of furniture that's not going to move on you or wall. Take your time. Anywhere between 7 and 10 breaths, staying up in an inversion. You can do 2 rounds where you're coming down and resting in between rounds or sides. Make sure there's no breath retention. Maintain integrity in the upper back, chest muscles, the shoulders. Are ready to come out of that shape. Make sure you take resting breaths before you move your way back to your original place in the room. light in here. We're going to turn the light on. And we'll meet back up in Dandasana. So take your time. You have the legs extended in front. Elevated hips here if you prefer, bolster or a blanket underneath. You want to feel like you can sit up tall without rounding the upper back. Wrists are about an inch behind the hips. Fingertips or palms are going to be on the floor so that the arms are supportive. Shoulders feel like they take on some of the body weight while maintaining that integrity and engagement of the muscles along the spine. Always have the knees bent here and elevated hips. Soft gaze goes toward the big toes for staff. One more breath here. Here, we'll bend both knees, we'll come onto the back. Bring knees up towards shoulders, grab shins or wrap arms around shins. Do a little rocking from side to side. Get a massage of the muscles along the spine, upper back, and release for the lower back. Back to center, and then bring the feet down, knees bent, feet mat width distance apart, arms then go to a T formation with your palms up. We'll do some windshield wipers here. Finishing exercise, the knees fall to the right, the head turns to the left. Knees and chin back to center on the inhale, and as the knees go to the left, we turn our head to the right. Center as we inhale. And go back and forth, connecting your breath with your movement. Check in, making sure you're not rushing through the inhale. Sometimes that might even take a little bit of a pause there at the top of the inhale, and then let the knees fall right at the beginning of the exhale. We'll do one more with the knees to the right, one more with the knees to the left. Knees and chin, find their way back to center. You can take a few moments to assess the physical body with the lower back, shoulders. If there's any other simple posture or movement that you feel would bring further compensation in any muscles or joints, or a specific posture that always makes Shavasana more comfortable for you, please give yourself a moment to do that for yourself. And if you set yourself up in any particular way for corpse pose, another layer of clothes to maintain body temperature, under the knees or over the eyes, go ahead and do that. Keep your attention as internal as possible as you do. And then we'll all meet up in corpse pose. Start to settle in. Check in with hips, lower back, rib cage, shoulder blades, and base of the skull. Start to let all the muscles and the bones give in to gravity. It's a posture we want to fully relax. Eyes and jaw soften. Navel, the muscles around the rib cage relax. Drawing your attention inward by observing your breath move through the nose and the throat. Stay receptive to all that's within your highest good in regards to healing and resolution. create some movement in the physical body and start taking deeper breaths in. Take your time as you eventually find your way back up to a comfortable seated position. We'll spend a little bit of time on some breath work and concentration. Settled in and finding with the hand gesture that works for you. Locking the fingers, having the thumbs touching. So there, start to focus on the physical sensation of the breath moving through the nose and the throat. Find a rhythm with your breath. Start to count the breath to yourself and create a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. 6-second breath in, 6-second breath out. Continue with that breathing pattern. It's comfortable for you. There's no contraindications such as pregnancy, high blood pressure, intraocular pressure. And start to add a short internal and external breath retention. Eventually you might lengthen that breath retention between anywhere from 2 to 6 seconds. Make sure you find a count that's comfortable for you. And stay consistent with that count for the remainder of the practice. We'll do this for another couple of minutes. 6-second breath in, 6-second breath out, and anywhere between a 2-second to 6-second internal and external breath retention. attention. Take your time, resume a natural breathing pattern from there. As you observe your natural breathing pattern, pay particular attention to that moment or space that lies there between the inhale and exhale naturally. Particular attention to that moment or space that lies there between the inhale and exhale naturally. Then allow the attention to drift outward, more aware of the space and the sounds around you. As you exhale, feel the support of the floor underneath you and your body weight settled into spine and hips. Palms together in front of the heart center. And take a moment for reflection and gratitude. Seal the practice by chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale. Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all beings, without one exception, know peace and be released from suffering. So it is, and so it shall be. Everyone, thanks for joining me tonight, or whenever you do take the class, if you're watching the video. We love having you practice out there with us. If there's any questions, you can always email us at info@teachyogachicago.com. Make sure you're signing up for our newsletter and any social media accounts, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, so you're always up to speed with anything that we're offering here